Welcome to the Road End Podcast. Stay tuned to hear all things LFC.
Hi everyone and welcome to Season 3 of the Road End Podcast. Today I'm joined by the band The Sway. They're a local band from Liverpool who many will have seen supporting Jamie Webster on the Pierhead.
Right, I know you lads have been to Glastonbury, so let's be realistic. What condition are we in?
Style.
Yeah,
Very style.
I was saying my face feels a bit like
Wooden.
woody.
That's the anime, definitely.
Is it a rough one, yeah?
Yeah.
So I just want to let everyone know who you are, basically. So how long have you been together and how do you know each other?
We've been together now.
We've been together for years now. We started when we were like 16 in college. When we went to college, like Ryan and Harry, Ryan and then the drummer Harry were mates, and then I sort of like bumped into them and come along with them in college and started playing guitar with them. And then Aidan joined on the keys and Sean on the bass, like a few months later or whatever. Well, we probably started that in 2016, and it was about 2018, 2019 by the time we got the five of us together and playing like sort of music that we actually thought sounded
Yeah,
like.
it was after just like mates playing music up until that point really, and then we started thinking, what can we do to be a band, you know what I mean? And then
How do you make that next step? How do you know that like you're good enough, let's say?
I think we always like believed we were good enough, so it wasn't like a next step. It was just gradual steps that no one sees. So it's like we've been practicing whenever we can for like 6 years now. So it's like people, not that we're doing anything massive, but people would look and think like, oh, when did they start like taking it serious or whatever? But we've probably always believed it, and just gradual steps where you sort of, I think COVID probably helped people notice a bit of a difference because it gave us like a year or two of practice.
I think it's weird as well where like there's some bands where you speak to them like, oh yeah, we practice every day. Like, fucking hell, you know what I mean? How's that often? Like we get in when we can, like, and try and do it as much as we can, but you know, it's obviously there's five of us and we've all got other things and that, but I don't know, it's if you base how much you put in terms of that, what you get out.
Yeah. Well, the same with anything in life like that, isn't it? Where like you've got to put the legwork in. And we have put grafting for years, on all over the scale of it, like from practicing to like social media and doing gigs and all that. So,
Well, I was reading before, your music's classed as indie rock pop, bit of everything.
Yeah,
I don't know who the people are who decide what.
that's like one of them where when you put a tune on, they ask you to like describe it, so you can like get put on playlists on that. So you just put fucking everything. So you can get as many as you can, if you know what I mean. It's psychedelic fucking negative, all that. Everything. Whatever you want, fucking get it on there.
So we've always like never really knew what, when people say what genre are you, it's like, come on. Like,
yeah, you feel a bit like, well, I always have anyway, a bit weird saying, I thought it's like pop music, you know what I mean? Or like, it's good. And it takes a long time.
the one that we've warmed to most of other people saying is like Scouse Blues, sort of, but that's not the genre. So it's just like,
I feel like that's more like the early days as well. Yeah. Better make some of the stuff with him. It's just like
pop guitar music.
It is early, yeah, but it's just knowing that it's called pop. At least you got. You know what I mean? It's feeling
Beatles is pop.
Yeah, if you were like.
You played at Glastonbury over the weekend then? How was that?
Yeah, it was alright, a bit ropey.
Yeah, it was like Sunday morning,
9
PM. So we were just like looking
at the yeah, the events as well. Because we did it last year. We were like, fucking, we're all it's Sunday at 1 o'clock, we're all pasted. Why we both know to do it? It's gonna be what's going on here?
Yeah. Well, I think we just take what we can get, like, because we're obviously not getting asked to come down. Like we're all there to at Glastonbury, and we just say, you can give us a guitar to let us play for a minute. But I think we showed because we were probably on the smallest stage in the whole festival, but there was probably about 50, 60 people who could come along. So we were trying to like say to the people there, like, if you let us come and do a full band gig, we'll play every day. And we'll be able to get it.
Oh, it's one of those. What's that thing? If you build it, they will come. You know what I mean? If we fucking if you give us somewhere to play, we'll play. Like, doesn't matter where it is. Do you know what I mean?
Hopefully 60 people turns into 600 people now. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, doesn't it?
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, it'd be nice.
How was Glastonbury as a whole then?
Yeah, cracking.
It's always the best weekend of the year, like, and then just
It's like, it's just a little place of paradise, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like when people ask you that question, you don't even know what to say. You're just like, it's great, like, it's boss, like, it is just
What
like.
was your highlight on the stage?
I honestly think Elton John, like, because I'm not like a passionate Elton John fan. You know what I mean? I'm just a casual listener, but he was just boss, and it was a boss like performance, and that.
I quite liked Foo Fighters, mate.
Yeah,
It was meant to be, it was the chain-ups, weren't it? But everyone was sort of saying it's going to be Foo Fighters.
yeah.
Then we got down, I went with my bed and got down like half early. Fucking made up when he come up live and he smashed it as well. So good to see them, you know what I mean?
I think that Webster on the Saturday.
Yeah.
Webster plays with like Billy Bragg.
Yeah, on the left field, she smashed it.
It was just like I liked the setup of it because it was dead chills, and it was just like them three going back and forth, playing different tunes and then playing together and stuff. That was a nice little atmosphere.
Webster at the album was wasn't obviously a character
Yeah.
as well. You know,
Yeah. But obviously this weekend for you was massive. So I'm right in saying you're playing Friday and Sunday at the Pierhead.
yeah.
Tell me how you got the gig for the Friday and the Sunday.
We got asked by the Malta basically.
We had the Sunday one initially, so we had that for months, looking forward to it, and then we just got asked about the Friday one, and
Like to be a bit cheeky, trying to get on because I think it was late. There was sort of talk about one or the other and that, and then you know,
let's do both.
come on, that was that thing. Go on. No, go on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah,
I'm just excited for, like we were saying, when you do big gigs, usually it's just like one night and it's just a blur, and you're in work mode, and then it's just over, and you're like, oh yeah. With this, we'll just get to like take it in twice, like do it Friday, and then it's like we can go back on Sunday and just like take the view in again and do it again.
And just what's nice as well is it like it's different sets of people probably that you'd be playing to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which obviously it's good on like it seems like a, you know, like trying to promote yourself aspect, but it's also good and like we'll cast like a different vibe like in the crowd, you know what I mean? We'll be able to like feel like a different buzz on both days, which I think would be cool.
I think on Friday the average age is going to be about 20, innit? Let's be honest.
And Sunday, briefly about.
And then Sunday you've got like older couples and older people and that sort of thing. You reach your best. Obviously it's a massive gig Friday. Webster, it's the end show of his 2-day set. That's going to be huge, but it must have been mad when you knew you were supporting James as well, because obviously he's a legend.
Yeah.
Well, it was that come first, the James one, and obviously like when we heard about it, it blew our heads off because it's weird when obviously starting off as like a young band, you view certain bands as like obviously you all exist in the same world on some level, but you don't really do it. You know what I mean? You exist in fucking like your bubble, and you see them over there, and you're like, oh, I remember listening to that tune and that, and then it's weird seeing your name or like your collective name next to them. You know what I mean? It's strange.
And then the Webster one's just like a moment in history to be a part of more. Yeah. Like the James one's like James can play arenas everywhere because Webster do the theatre. I think that one's exciting to just be a part of that night. It's the same way like the Echo Arena was and that. Like it's just because it's one of them. It's gonna be something that remembers.
It's a special thing. He's all being and the to be there as someone watching, let alone fucking someone playing. It's gonna be a push. So
What time is on?
5 o'clock, I think.
Yeah, it's 5 hours.
On Friday.
So it might be 6. I don't know.
I think it's Friday, 5 or Friday. Yeah, fuck it out.
Like, they hope it's on Friday.
Yes. Yeah.
Have a look on it.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's not. It's like because it's a sort of like an all day and then leading into the night. So I think both of them. I think James is like 3 or 4 and Webster's 5 or something like.
Well, I think your latest single is that "See Through." Is that your latest one?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've got a lot of time for it. I've listened to it quite a few times on Spotify. It sounds like it's made for gigs like this. To be honest with you, the Friday one.
Oh, nice one.
Is what I mean. It feels like a bit of a. I'm not going to say a party starter because I'm not 90, but it feels like it's just going to set the mood. You know what I mean? So
I'll see party staff as a compliment me, like, don't feel anything, you know what I mean?
I think we're all excited about like the new ones we've got that we're bringing out. We've got a few that we're bringing out and see through's the first out of them.
Yeah.
And did you just feel like a step up? Because so like the last time we recorded before, that's like 2 years ago or something, is it? Where we brought them out gradually, but we probably recorded them like 2 years ago. So we went to like a new studio and that new producer and just newer songs.
And so I thought we did the other ones with he's fucking brilliant, Sim.
Yeah.
Like, he's known in the city as someone who's, you know, fucking well established. But we were just after something a bit different, you know, see what we'd be like in a different, you know, a different set. So, yeah, obviously, as he said there, we've come on in series, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
like a different flavour.
well, what's the long-term aim for the band then?
Big gigs for happy people, eh?
Yeah,
Like, flying off for.
the main things that excite me is big gigs and just putting music out. I think for me, I just want to put out like a catalogue of music, like what I know we can. We've got dozens of tunes, and like I just want to get them all out, and be able to look back on them, be able to be talked about, sort of in the realm of Scouse bands. That's like my. I'd like to be, you know, people that are in the booze, and it's like Coddle the Zoo songs or whatever. And it's like the Sway, they all right. That's I'll do it, and then a few more gigs like this weekend.
I think it's weird because like you get two different types of buzz where like making music is like one of the most fun things you can do. Do you know what I mean? Like and record it and trying to work out what to do with it and all that. And then like obviously you've got the performance side. This is a completely different type of buzz, but it's just like if you can just get them two buzzes for as much chill as often as possible and fucking you're living a dream, aren't you?
Yeah, definitely. And there's a gig in Hangar 34, September the 30th.
Yeah.
Where can people get tickets for that?
On our the Sway Band Instagram, the link in the bio. I think you can go on just Google.
Yeah, if
just
you haven't
Google.
got Instagram or whatever, we've got it on all the bios, so Twitter and Facebook as well.
Yeah.
But if you just Google the Sway Hangar 34 Liverpool, something like that, it'll come up there.
Yeah.
I think it's about a tenner a ticket. So we've just been trying to shove that in everyone's face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's you know, it's looking like it's going to be a good night.
If you could headline one place, anywhere, where would it be?
There's two that come
So I don't like I Garage, I want to say the same too as well.
Yeah, Anfield and Glastonbury.
Yeah, Pyramid and
The Pyramid at Glastonbury and just Anfield.
Anfield's a big class, wasn't it?
Fucking unbelievable.
So I've seen Webster's done like charity gigs and stuff like that. So is there no way he can slip in there?
Well, it's one of them where he's done as many a turn. Do you know what I mean? All when we've been going, so we never asked. Do you know what I mean? Because it's a bit like there's certain people you try and never go, but when fucking someone's done that being that sound to you, and that you have like you come to be start asking for more. Right? Do you know what I mean?
Give the lads a go, hey Jamie, you've had enough.
Let's get quick that. Long may it continue. What he does, you know what I mean? It's fucking boss.
So he's all Reds in the band.
Well, we've got one who doesn't really follow footy, but he's an Evertonian, so that's probably why.
That's why.
Yeah.
There's four Reds and out that three of us, like me, you and Sean, will go to games and that whenever we can, and
Yeah.
like watching them. There's Harry and Aidan. Like Harry's Liverpool, but he's not really bothered with Aidan's Everton.
Yeah. You've got a season ticket though, haven't you? So I'd say out of the three of us, well, I'd never used to. Yeah, there's probably I'm the slacker out of the three of us, to be honest. I go what I can, like, you know what I mean?
What did you make it last year?
More attention of the year, like, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Last season was like a bit of a year off, wasn't it? It was just like,
Yeah.
we come good towards the end if we can pick up where we left off with a few new players.
I was hopeful like the last 6 games, to be honest. Like maybe sort of you can see little things coming together that hadn't really been the case throughout the season.
Yeah, and obviously there's the ownership's a bit of a in or out type of thing. Where do you stand with FSG?
To be honest, like if you just spend like a little bit more money, when you think about what you've done, realistically, if you think about track record, what you've actually done with the club, you can't say that they're bad owners, especially when you see look over the back and see what they've been up to. You know what I mean? But
It's a weird one because on one hand, I think if we didn't have Klopp, like Klopp is like what's the word? He's like facilitated what they've been able to like get away with to an extent. Like he's fitted the model that they wanted to have perfectly. But then at the same time, it's like, as you said, how much can you own? How far were we away from administration? And then look at us now, we've won everything, and we've got this new standard. They've set us up in a good way. I think it's obvious that they're like businessmen, and they don't have Liverpool's like success in their hearts. Like they want to make money off it as well. But it's a weird one. And you look at like, and you look at the other options as well, and you think like, they're all going to be the same, aren't they? They're all businessmen. Obviously, you'd want them to spend a little bit more, but it's just the way Liverpool is, isn't it?
I'm hopeful for next season, to be honest. Like, I think Fowler has just been catching a bit of shit, hasn't he? But I think he'll come good. He's only young, and then Gakpo, I think he come good quick, and then you got the Elsbach. I feel like it, and obviously Trent's moving on that. I just think there's a lot to be hopeful about for next year, to be honest. So what, like, really?
Yeah, I feel like it's pointless even.
Not calling for the red zone on.
Yeah, it's pointless even like talking either way on it now, because we entered last season well. I think we can go into this season well, win the Europa League, and strongly finish top 4 type of thing. And
I think I feel like that. I get the impression that there's no pressure this season. It's like it can't be any worse than last, so let's just see what happens. You know what I mean? Yeah, it kind of feels like we're starting again with Klopp, which is a mad thing to say.
It is not. It's like his second. He's built sort of, and I'd say halfway through, really built for his second squad.
I think it's I'm made up though that he is doing that, because he could look at how long he's got left and just think he can run it down with all these legends that we've got and just sort of get off. But he's looking at it like he's got 3 years left or whatever. It's like the same 2026, aren't he? So he's thinking like leave them with another team, another squad of young players who are hitting the prime.
Yeah.
You can't ask for much more off him, can you? If he can leave us in a good position heading off, then he's just the best ever, and he is great. Like I can't picture him leaving. It's gonna be sad.
No. A few questions on next season then. Each to you both. If you could sign anyone to go on that side, who would it be?
Proper right back. Can't think of one off the top of my head, but it'd be a proper right back. Straight off. I don't know, maybe like I think you've got McAllister here, but maybe a better, as the whole mid.
It's hard for me. Like, you know, when people go on about all these mad European players, it looks good in, but like, I wouldn't even be onto them really. Like, it's just like I'm not gonna sit there and be like, we should. This lad's at Leipzig, yes.
I think they played a bit less ultimacy than everyone else should.
Yeah, that's something that we don't play. All these
It does feel like that. Like I've had to do like exclusive podcasts with journalists just to find out who these people are, because since 6 months ago I wouldn't have had a clue who Chidam was. I've never watched them in my life. Now I seem to know everything about them.
You can say names like that, but I just feel like a dickhead saying names like that when I'm only saying it because I've seen someone else tweet it. You know what I mean? He's good.
I just like, I'm thinking about it like positionally. Obviously, like I'm not going to like get into like the full fucking thing of it. Like when I have a little watch of someone, I think, oh, he'd be good or whatever. But I think positionally for us, that's the way I'm basing it. I'm the right back. We need one. I think obviously you've got Kanate now, and he's fucking boss and he's young and he's got a long way to go, but probably another centre back is like another option, you know what I mean?
That's injury prone.
Yeah.
Right back, centre mid.
Yeah.
I think when it all goes on, it's in a way, is it?
Yeah, we've got goals on it. You just need to stop conceding. I've said this a few times. It all depends for me on what the plan is for Trent. Now, if he's going to play centre mid, we probably might need to get another one. Right back will be the priority. So
would you want him further back or sat in front of two?
Trent, I'd want him the way he is now, positionally, in the inverted fullback type of thing. But I'd rather we have the right back. Because I think it takes the pressure off Kanate or whoever's right centre half, because I feel like Kanate's just been getting legs everywhere for the last 6 months.
What's up, was it Calvin Ramsey, the Scottish lad? Where's he went?
He's done out on loan. He's done like a serious cruciate injury, and then he's gone out on loan.
Look it out. You can tell him a bit off the loop, can't you? You know what I mean?
I think it depends on where they go, doesn't it?
You know, when you get to summer, you just like, it's a welcome break. Like you shut off the footy for a couple of months because you're just like, Twitter
kills me.
I've muted loads of like buzzwords on Twitter.
Yeah.
So you just see like,
I can't do that, Twitter. People
Playing
that
today,
it's like, anything help.
Mbappe's like 300 million or whatever. It's like, what? In what world are we going to do that? Like,
No, what I'll
Look, we swear at Bellingham, so why are we going to pay 300 million for him? No, okay, so after last season's nightmare then, where do you see us finishing next season?
I reckon if you do it properly, top 4. If you want to say something better, we've got to be realistic having it. And if we get it done properly, top 4, and then maybe get the Europa League just to fucking get another one for Klopp, like, you know what I mean?
it's going to be tough because the way the league is now, Arsenal, Newcastle, and Man United are all like properly on the up.
Yeah.
And Man City are obviously just formidable at it as it is. So that them 4 teams are like really going to be hard to finish above.
Yeah.
I think we can finish above Newcastle and Man United. Like, and it depends what Arsenal are like. If they have a busy window, then I don't see why they wouldn't be back in the top 2 or 3.
Yeah. It's weird, isn't it? Where it's like the same stuff with Chelsea like a couple of years ago, where they were comfortably third at half the dozen or after City and us. And then there was like this talk about people getting bored and then like a rewear for the club that they didn't need, and then did the fuck them, aren't they? So I feel like Arsenal, if they want to just stick at what they're doing, they'll do well. But I hope that they fucking change things around to me. But also, you can get it.
At the same time, also though, when you talk about like Arsenal and Newcastle and all that, when you talk about them, but then when you look at what we've done the last like 5 years or so, you just think if we come back playing how we can play, they're no competition for us whatsoever. Like, we're bladder them moving away. It's more about us just winning them bottom half games that we were slipping up last year. It's like, as I said,
If you won there, isn't it?
it's more about us than any of all them. Like, if we can play how we can play and make a couple of signings, then we can get back to where we were.
Finishing on a positive, I love it. Okay, so listen, lads, hand on heart, I just want to wish you all the best with the music. It's always nice to see local lads do well, especially for me, especially with music as well, because that's what we're known for in the city. So I'm going to finish the podcast by playing See Through so everyone can hear your latest release.
Here's an great one.
Just want to introduce it?
Our new tune, See Through. If you like it, it's on Spotify as well. Have a good day.
Right, nice one, boys. Appreciate it.
Nice one.
Something they know more, they're so belong. Thanks to everyone for listening in to today's podcast, and thank you to our amazing guests. Without them, this wouldn't be possible. Don't forget to follow us on social media, twitter.com/The Road End Pod, and on Instagram, Instagram/The Road End Pod.